Welcome to Classified Captures.
Steve here, and today we've got a wild lineup of clips ranging from wild conspiracies to clips of cryptids we never even thought could exist. Ready to have your mind blown? Well, let's jump in. Starting today's episode, we've got a controversial one. This footage was allegedly captured by the Ring camera of a homeowner. Like all Ring cameras, it was in her door and faced the porch of her home. On that same porch, she had a planter hanging from the roof. Today, however, we're not here to admire that planter. Take a good look at the planter. Do you see it? In the dark, behind the planter was something she didn't put there. It was a face. There was a face peeking out from behind the flowers. Quality of the footage affects our ability to see, but the face looks almost human, but still isn't quite human. It's rather more ape-like. The thing, however, is this was taken in a place that naturally doesn't have gorillas or apes around. This left the paranormal community debating, with some stating emphatically that it had to be a Sasquatch. You've seen the clip yourself. Well, if we're being honest, it's not much, but what do you see? Two ghost hunters in the UK went to a graveyard late one night to do some ghost hunting. They were the only people around. As they walked through the yard, they noticed something unusual by one of the tombs. They took a picture, and this is what they captured. There was a strange white smoke near the tomb. According to the ghost hunters, it appeared suddenly even though there was no fire or no one nearby was smoking. The eerie sight made them wonder if it was something supernatural, so they snapped a photo. Once home, they go over the still image and realize that the smoke takes on a chilling form. Do you see it? There's actually a figure reaching out and touching the tombstone. It's unmistakable. Look at it closely. At the time, it was just a mysterious cloud, but now, maybe they really did capture a ghost. In fact, some in the paranormal community think it might be the ghost of a loved one visiting the grave of someone who recently passed to usher them home. Sounds a bit much, but hey, who knows?
Big glitch from Apple. The company says a fix is in the works for a bug in its text-to-speech transcription software.
Recently, some people stumbled upon a bizarre glitch while using their iPhones. They were using the voice reader for the word racist. But what happened next left them shocked.
It claims Apple's voice-to-text function on some iPhones replaced the word racist with the word Trump.
Every time the word racist was spoken, the name Trump would appear, sometimes even autocorrecting to racist. That's wild. Now we all know the U.S. remains divided over Trump's presidency. With the deportation ongoing, I understand why many, or rather some, will call him racist. But he's repeated time and time again that he only has a problem with illegal immigrants and legal ones are welcomed.
And you say, racist.
Wow.
Also, he and Elon Musk seem to be getting along just fine, which should remove any racist allegation. Also, I doubt a big corporation like Apple will want to get involved in something as trivial as this while putting the future of their business online. So what's going on here? Is this some kind of hidden agenda, a tech glitch, or just an overblown internet prank? Some users in the comments claim they tried it and it actually worked, but is that true? Can our iPhone users confirm this?
You know what? I'm gonna quickly go and try this on my phone. Give me 2 secs.
Racist. Racist. Racist.
Yeah, weird. Didn't work.
It was really cool, and I feel like it sets this house apart.
I have no doubt the construction workers see some of the wildest things out there, and this clip proves me right.
The owner, she had this drywall covering the crawl space. That's not the cool thing about it. And I want y'all to check this out.
This man was given a project to remodel a house, and while he was there alone, looking around, he found a hidden compartment. Excited, he went down there to take a video, and as you can see, it was not what you'd expect. Some might even describe it as a pretty eerie place. There were folded tables on the side, and it even had lights. It was clearly a huge space, one you would not associate with a place like this.
I think I just heard some footsteps.
As he was looking around, he heard footsteps from above. He panicked, then quickly calmed himself, thinking it could be squatters in the house.
This can't be a squatter.
He went up to look and saw no one. He then decided to check out the rooms. It was at this point that he heard female voices. Now, he was supposed to be alone, so who was speaking? The voices were distinct, but there was no sign of anyone in the house. Shaken by the experience, he tries to get out of the place, and the video ends, and we never really get an answer to the mystery. So what do you think? Was he merely dealing with a case of squatters or something more paranormal?
This crawl space is because of this drywall. The owner, she had this drywall covering the crawl space.
This footage comes straight from a motion sensor camera a man had set up in his home office, and it's a tad unsettling. One night, while everyone was asleep, his dog started barking. He didn't think much of it at the time, but the next day, as he reviewed the camera footage, he spotted something bizarre, a glowing ring of lights floating over his desk. Looking at the clip, we can see that the dog barking is due to what it saw moving around in the room. There's an orb in there with him. What's even stranger is how the orb moves. It's not random, it almost seems aware of its surroundings. The man, understandably shocked, shared the video online, hoping to receive some answers. Some suggested it might be a ghost, while others insist it could be an angel, given the ring's halo-like shape. Even skeptics are struggling to come up with a solid explanation, with some stating it's probably cobwebs. Sounds logical, as they could have that ethereal glow when light hits them in the dark. But looking at the way the thing moves, I have doubts. Me doubting it, though, doesn't mean I have answers. I'm leaning toward the paranormal or doctored footage for this one, but perhaps you guys might see a detail I'm missing. So what do you think we are dealing with?
I have not brushed my teeth since I was 8 years old.
That's even fall out, man.
Oh yeah, I'm 62 years old and I got every one of them, never had a cavity, and I've never had any problems with them. Go figure that one out.
8 years old?
No, I just do hydrogen peroxide.
When we were growing up, we were taught about the importance of maintaining personal hygiene, especially brushing our teeth regularly. But this man claims he hasn't brushed his teeth since he was 8 years old, and at the time of the footage, he was 62. Why? Well, listen to his reasoning. He argues that the same toothpaste we use to clean our teeth can also use to scrape rust off of metal. If that's the case, it means that when we use it, it slowly wears away the enamel on our teeth, which eventually leads to cavities and other dental complications. He says he's never had any of these issues in his life despite not brushing. What's his solution then? Hydrogen peroxide. I know there are many schools of thought on this one, but it does appear to work for them, and many others we have featured on this channel use the same method. There are some who state that Big Pharma know this and is just allowing the sale of toothpaste for the sake of the money associated with the industry. Are there any experts amongst us that can tell us if this is true?
Go on a YouTube video and watch if you put Crest on a toothbrush, take that same toothbrush on a rusted chrome bumper and watch it just take all the rust right off the bumper. Now that's the same thing that you're cleaning your teeth with. What you're doing is you're withdrawing the enamel. In other words, you're taking the enamel, the protection off your teeth.
While there's a possibility that the toothpaste we use to ensure our oral hygiene might be harmful, there are even stranger and perhaps more serious things to worry about, like the fruits and vegetables we eat. Take a look at what these farmers are doing. If it's not obvious already, they're injecting chemicals into produce, coating them with preservatives, and even dyeing them to enhance their appearance. Why? Because fresh fruits and vegetables spoil quickly and large-scale farmers can't afford major losses. Keeping them fresh isn't easy, and these shortcuts make it possible and also profitable. Aside from this, they also inject the fruits with chemicals to make them grow faster and spray them with preservatives to keep them looking fresh. You don't need to be a food expert to know this has a really bad effect on our health. Unfortunately for us buyers, we can't always tell which fruits and vegetables are natural and which are artificially enhanced. Given the times we live in, some have stated that it is a necessary evil to meet food demands. But is it though? Should we be sacrificing our health for convenience? Personally, I don't think so, but what do I know? Maybe this is what it means to be an advanced civilization.
Domino. What is that? What the hell is that? Hey!
A man was at home when he noticed his dog wasn't inside. It was pretty late at night, so he went out to find his dog, and this is what he saw. The dog was just sitting there in the yard facing the darkness. This was not normal. Something was off. He called out to the dog and it didn't respond. He decided to record the interaction. He wouldn't look at it until sometime later, and when he did, he noticed something rather strange. In the video, there was a tall humanoid figure walking into the darkness. He also mentions that you can see the silhouette of the entity retreating into the woods from his home. I have looked several times, but haven't had as much luck discerning this clip as the others who have seen it. Some even stated that when they enhanced the clip, they saw a tall creature with a skeleton-like face. Others report it had a mist-like appearance. The theories are many, but the truth can only be one. We didn't enhance it here, but you guys take a good look and tell me what you see.
Domino. What is that? What the hell is that? Hey!
This video was shared by someone who was in a church when this happened. A woman was preaching when a young lady suddenly screamed and started to move about in her seat. Some men came to hold her and help her when the woman was speaking. Watch what happens next.
Out of her mouth now and allow her to speak. Hun, do you want to renounce more? Renounce familiar spirits? I renounce all divination, all the gifts that they gave me, the ability that they gave me. I renounce all of them. I renounce idolatry. I renounce lust of the eyes, lust of the flesh, adultery. I renounce disease spirits. I renounce all the fallen that I Thank you, Jesus. I detach her from all of that now.
She asks the lady what she's supposed to renounce, and she starts to tense up as she responds. In the end, she begins to move and act like a snake with her tongue sticking out. In some religious settings, this can be considered either an exorcism or deliverance. However, not everyone seems to believe it. Some skeptics argue that these things are sometimes scripted just to deceive people and get them to come to their churches or religious gatherings. Conversely, those who believe hold on to the idea that this is an actual act of divine intervention. Would you consider this real? Also, is this confirmation that demons are out there and making people do things they might not necessarily want to do?
Flesh, adultery. I renounce disease spirits. I renounce all the fallen that I Thank you, Jesus. I detach her from all of that now.
While cruising on the ocean, a boater caught sight of something intriguing in the shallow water beneath him. As he peered closer, he was amazed to see an unusual creature that resembled a human but possessed the tail of a fish. Its features were somewhat obscured, likely due to the water's surface distortion, yet its overall shape was distinct enough to capture his attention. Even if today's your first time visiting this channel, you should have an idea of what we're dealing with, right? Depending on where you come from and which lore you subscribe to, you may either believe this is a siren or a mermaid. These creatures have been part of human mythology across various cultures, sparking countless tales and discussions over the years. While some dismiss the existence of mermaids and sirens as mere fantasy, others firmly believe that they do exist. Is this clip proof of their existence, or ours simply seeing what we want to see? I'll let you guys decide on that one. Oh, and before we move on to the next, there are some who also think it's CGI, so keep that in mind as well. A man was working a late-night shift at a field site in his truck. I'm not exactly sure what he was there to do. Maybe dig, maybe inspect something, but just as he was about to start working, he heard something strange. It sounded like a muffled voice calling out, "Help." He was alone, surrounded by dense woods, and the sound was close. So he grabbed his phone and flashlight and started recording, but no matter where he looked, there was no sign of a person. Terrified, he rushed back into his truck, locked the doors, and said a quick prayer. When he shared the footage online, people had mixed reactions. Some said he should have gone out to check. What if someone really needed help? But others thought he did the right thing because the muffled quality of the voice sounded exactly like something a skinwalker would do to lure him into the woods. And honestly, if you're alone in the dark and hear something like that, would you go investigate? This footage comes from Australia's Port Noarlunga jetty, where a group of friends were enjoying a day out. Some stood on the bridge watching the water, while one, holding a camera, decided to jump in for a swim. As he resurfaced, his friends started shouting frantically, sensing something was wrong. He quickly dove underwater with the camera, and that's when he saw it. A massive shark was swimming straight toward him. It got dangerously close, but then at the last moment it veered away. Wasting no time, he scrambled out of the water, racing up the stairs to safety. The footage is terrifying to watch, but here's the twist. It wasn't real. It was actually a well-edited project by some film students. At least that's what a commenter from the original video said. Port Noarlunga Jet has, however, seen a real shark attack. In 2023, a great white shark attacked a woman, biting her face. She was rushed to hospital, and thankfully she survived without life-threatening injuries. After the attack, the area was evacuated, but the shark was never seen again. So if you ever find yourself at Port Noarlunga Jetty, just stay alert. That shark could come back to finish what it started.
No, I'm going to the stairs.
You need to get to the steps. Just start swimming to the steps.
What?
Get to the steps. Swimming there.
What is it?
Just get to the steps.
Recently, Snapchat users made a very haunting discovery, and it all started when a boy used a Snapchat filter to take a picture. Why though? Well, in the picture on the roof of the room, he saw something strange. It was what looked like the face of a woman. This puzzled him because he was supposed to be alone, so he took a second image, this time covering the lens of the camera. And the image that was supposed to be pitch black showed yet again the same face of the same woman he had seen earlier. One of her eyes was closed and her upper lid appeared protruded. Confused, he shared the image and it quickly went viral because others stated that they had similar experiences using the same Snapchat filter. As expected, theories started flying around, the most popular that AI was trying to give itself a face. If true, that would mean Snapchat's AI had somehow gained sentience and was attempting to create its own identity. Sounds absurd, right? But is it? Think about this. Some users have asked AIs to generate images to competing AIs like Meta AI. When they shared the results with the targeted AI, Meta AI reportedly responded that the image was like looking in a mirror. Not sure what to make of that, but one thing's for sure, strange things are happening in the world of AI. Some women were out on a small boat in the ocean when they noticed something strange in the water. At first, it looked like a massive dark shape moving beneath the surface. As it became more visible, they could make out glowing dots, almost like eyes staring back at them. Initially, I thought it might be a giant crocodile lurking in the depths, but as more of the creatures surfaced, they realized this was something else entirely. The two glowing spots didn't seem like eyes after all. Instead, there were more strange markings along its back, making it even harder to identify. Some viewers suggested it might be bioluminescent marine life, while others speculated that it could be a possible sea monster. I have my theories on this one, but perhaps we should hear yours first. Care to share? A young man picked up an Uber to get home after a long night shift. As he was on the way, he started filming outside. He was filming the rear view mirror, which spans the camera to look out. The car was passing by a gate, and as they kept going, he started filming a bridge. The guy at the time was just passing the time as he headed home, but little did he know he had captured something weird. Now let's take a slow and second look at the footage. At the gate, as the car passes by, there's a humanoid figure standing in the dark facing the car. It was dark where the figure was, so we couldn't see what it was. As the footage continues and we get to the bridge part, on either side of the bridge through the railings there's another figure. This time we see that it's wearing a long white robe with long black hair facing the car as it drives by. When the man noticed what he had filmed, he was shocked and shared it online. Viewers who saw this had a range of ideas about what these things were. Some said the first figure could have been a person near their home at the gate, but the way they just were standing there made it suspicious. Others said it could have been a burglar hiding in the dark when the car approached. As for the figure at the bridge, most people said it looked like a ghost because the side of the bridge wasn't en route for people to pass. It was just an overgrown area. Given that it was late at night, some are also saying that the dark entity at the gate could be a shadow person. What are your thoughts? One American woman curious about these traditions traveled to Romania to meet practicing witches. When she arrived, this is what she witnessed. Inside a dimly lit room, strange objects were tied up and placed in a basket. Then, a thick, odd-looking goo was poured over them. The candle was set in the center, and suddenly the witches began chanting, ringing a bell, and reciting words she couldn't understand. It was a ritual. The woman, caught off guard by the intensity of the moment, had no idea what was happening. She was stunned, yet uploaded the clip online. Once the clip made its way online, people had lots to say and a lot of questions as well. The most prominent being, were they actual witches? They expected magic and what have you, and I can't fault them for that. While witches are often portrayed as mystical or even sinister figures, have you ever stopped to think about what they really are? If you break it down, many of their so-called potions are made from herbs, much like early forms of medicine. In a way, witches could be seen as natural chemists, practitioners of ancient science, rather than wielders of supernatural forces. So is there more to witchcraft than the myths suggest, or is the appropriate question rather, what are the forms of witchcraft are there out there?
Binecuvântare. Binecuvântarea. Amin. With the power of the fire. Ritualurilor. Amin. Our powers. With the rituals. May the power of the rituals to stick to you and to remain in your life. Amen.
A man was walking through a remote area when he noticed something unusual. It looked like a strange creature with brown fur, seemingly crouched on the ground and staring at him. He had no idea what it was, yet somehow managed to film for a while before retracing his steps and getting out of the place. Not knowing what this creature was, he shared the footage online for help identifying it. The first suggestion from the paranormal community was that it could be some sort of cryptid. That, I guess, is the answer for many of these strange captures this season. Others were more specific in their guesswork, stating that it could be a Bigfoot. Given what we are seeing, it could be very well the truth. As always, however, we got some skeptics who completely disagree and suggest that this isn't a cryptid but just an ape sitting on the ground, minding its own business. Since the footage ended abruptly and we're not told where this was recorded, we can't confirm either theory, but you've seen the clip, so what say you? We've explored many conspiracies and theories on this channel, but one that we haven't really discussed that much is the sunken city of Atlantis. Is there some truth to the myth and rumor? Well, the man you see on your screen is descending to a city hidden in the sea. Take a good look. How does something like this end up there? Over the years, there have been some strange structures and artifacts that suggest parts of our history may have been wiped out. Some have suggested that at some point there was a great flood that swallowed entire civilizations, and this is why in the ocean there have been structures found that look like entire cities. This is probably what this diver might have discovered, a whole civilization buried in the ocean. As fascinating as that theory is, not everyone agrees. Some argue that these structures were on land and were later swallowed by a great flood, like the biblical event. The funny thing is, you will find the same story in many other ancient texts from different civilizations. Others suggest an even wilder possibility that an alien civilization built them underwater. A few years ago, I would have laughed at that, but with all we've seen recently, what if that's the case? What if this isn't evidence of a lost civilization, but rather of a superior alien species? Before you disregard it, think about it. A family came home to find that the tiles in their dining area were completely wrecked. They then decided to check the security footage, and this is what they saw. Out of nowhere, something started moving beneath the tiles. As you can see, the tiles swell and break as this thing moves. But it doesn't appear to all the tiles, just a few of them. There's no visible proof of what's causing this. Some people said it could have been an earthquake, but it's highly unlikely for it to happen that way. Paranormal fans, however, believe this is some sort of entity, a very violent one like a poltergeist haunting the house. There's also the possibility of the tiles not being fixed properly in the first place, but if that were the situation, the owner should have seen signs, right? Either way, what do you make of the whole situation? Have you ever wondered how slugs drink water? I recently came across footage of it, and honestly, it's mesmerizing. Take a look. The slug crawls up to the water's edge, and as it makes contact, poof, the water disappears. It's almost like it flicks or licks the water, but at the speed at which it happens is wild. Some might even say the water slaps the slug before vanishing into its body. It's such a strange yet fascinating sight. Ever seen anything like it? This woman was at work when she noticed something strange. Several strands of her hair were sticking straight up. Curious and a little unsettled, she passed her hand over them to show no strings or anything were holding them in place. She tried shaking her head to see if the hair would fall back down, but it didn't. Even when she gently pushed it down with her hand, it would rise again. The paranormal community was quick to suggest that an unseen entity might be holding on her hair. However, take a more scientific approach. This phenomenon is most likely due to static electricity. Static charges can make hair stand on end, especially in dry environments or when in contact with certain materials. Still, the timing and the eerie way it refused to fall back down have some people questioning whether this was just a natural occurrence or something more. No, this isn't a scene from hell. It was actually filmed by someone escaping the forest fire. As unique and interesting looking as the whole scene is, the star of the show is the tornado of flames that show up. That's if I can call it that. Once the clip went online, some in the community had interesting takes on what it might be, including some referring to it as a fire ghost, which is one of the most uncool names. I would have called it the fiery ghost or being, which is similar but just a little cooler. Anyway, where was I? The scientific reason for what we are seeing, it turns out this is actually a phenomenon known as the fire whirl or fire devil. While it goes by many names, it's not an entity. Fire whirls occur when intense heat and turbulent wind conditions combine, creating a spinning vortex of flames. It's a rare and fascinating natural event, but it can also be incredibly dangerous. Safe to watch from a distance, but dangerous to experience it up close. A man was walking by the river when he noticed something strange in the water. It was a huge creature, but the thing is, we can't see exactly what it is. Only a bit of it is showing above the water. When you look closely, you can see what looks like tentacles, but this thing doesn't resemble an octopus or any sort of squid. Plus, are there any known river creatures with tentacles? I don't think so. As much as I would love to tell you what we're dealing with, I just have no answers. Even know-it-all Julius didn't pass a comment on this one. Not sure if he just wasn't interested or if he was disappointed with me asking. It's hard to read between the lines these days. Anyway, a response from you guys will be greatly appreciated. Sometimes it's good to stay ignorant about certain things. Take a look at what this man had to say during a live broadcast interview on TV.
Go to madeinchina.com and in the search engine, type snake venom peptides. You're going to see over 1,000 manufacturers around the world who make lyophilized white fine powder of snake venom to add to cosmetics that you put on your face and on your body. You'll see thousands of them, but they sell them as the powder to be added to whatever you're manufacturing.
Wait, what? Snake venom, actual poisonous snake venom, is being turned into powder and added to cosmetics? These are products we apply directly to our skin and faces. How did this slip past us? Or did it? In paranormal and conspiracy circles, there's a concept known as predictive programming, the idea that powerful elites subtly reveal their actions through media before they happen in real life. Hollywood, in particular, has long been accused of this practice, with some believing it's part of a larger hidden agenda. Think back to one of the Batman movies, where there was a plot about poison cosmetics making people sick. Now consider what's being said here. Is there really much of a difference? Are they showing us the truth in plain sight, knowing we'll dismiss it as fiction? Or is this just another wild theory? What do you think?
that they are the largest manufacturer in the world of snake venom peptides, and they now have nanocarrier technology to wrap around their snake venom peptides that allow them to deliver venom through water delivery systems. Their words, not mine. You can just put drops of it into your water and just drink it. How do you know they can't do that in your water delivery systems?
Some guys from Mexico were on a road trip when they reached this remote route with a beautiful mountain view. They parked their car on the side of the road to take videos and pictures. While one of them was panning the camera around, they captured something unusual. It was a saucer-shaped object in the distance. It was just floating on that hill, and as he zoomed in, you could see that the object wasn't on the ground, it was hovering. Just look at that. You can't tell me that's a car. It looks exactly like the stereotypical saucer-shaped UFO, and that's exactly what many in the paranormal community thought. Some, however, aren't convinced and state that this is nothing more than a mirage. Scientifically, I get them, but what if they're wrong? What if there's more to this than meets the eye? I guess we will never know, unless, of course, we send Julius there to verify. Not because we don't like him and want the aliens to take him away. No, we simply want the truth, and who else to be objective than the guy who doesn't believe in anything we do? Exactly. How much do you like hot dogs? If it's a lot and you don't feel like stopping, you might want to skip this one. If you still want to know, then let me be upfront with you. You might want to rethink that because a recent study has shown that hot dogs contain 20% more human DNA. Yes, human DNA. And that even includes the vegan ones. For my vegan friends, I hate to break it to you, but the study also found that a significant number of vegan products contain traces of meat. Yup. Actual meat, and this isn't limited to hot dogs, it cuts across many other vegan products. But the real question is, how did human DNA end up in hot dogs in the first place? Just how does something like this happen? Is there a serious contamination issue in food production, or is there something else going on behind the scenes that we're not being told? I will let you guys decide on that. There's also the possibility that these facts aren't true, so I'll leave that up to you. While we're all curiously waiting for Elon Musk to deploy his Neuralink technology, did you know that China might already have something similar? Yeah, a Chinese software programmer sent out a cryptic message that he was later decoded, revealing shocking information. According to the message, the CEOs of Quande, a huge tech company in China, have been using a similar brain chip for years. But how did he get this information out? Well, he sent out about 1.65 million's worth of Ethereum cryptocurrency to a burn address which caught everyone's attention. I mean, an amount like that would catch my attention if I were a crypto enthusiast. As with all cryptic messages, this was soon decoded, and his message was finally out there. According to him, he discovered that there are major tech companies in China that, from birth, deploy these chips to passively control people. This is even being done to their military and a large portion of their workforce. People under the influence of this technology can't think for themselves and are controlled against their will to work diligently to meet the company's goals. Some individuals don't even know they have the chip and go about their day unaware that their lives don't truly belong to them. This is a very dark situation to be in. But I have questions. Surely the parents of these individuals should have noticed when a chip was planted into their heads of the children, right? When you hear about the moon landing, there are a lot of conspiracies that come with it. From claims that it was faked to theories about alien involvement, but what's the truth? We've all heard how Neil Armstrong took that iconic step onto the moon, but there's also said to be a whole 7 hours of lost footage from the live feed. Many believe this missing footage is evidence that something unusual happened. In most conspiracy theories, we hear that humans never actually landed on the moon and that the footage was entirely fake. Others say we did land on the moon, but the live footage was faked because when the astronauts arrived, they encountered aliens or other things that couldn't be shown to the world. So they used a fake set to broadcast to the public. However, recently I came across another bizarre conspiracy. This one agrees that we landed on the moon, but it claims the footage was shown was fake and filmed in California. According to this theory, the astronauts were asked to lie about the whole thing for reasons only known to them, and NASA deliberately released these so-called fake moon landing images to throw people off. If this is true, you have to wonder, why are they putting so much effort into diverting our attention from the moon landing? Did they find something we're not supposed to know? Many seem to think that's the case. This image you're looking at is the St. Augustine Lighthouse. A couple had visited the place and the husband took this picture. On the day they went, the place was closed to tourists, so the lighthouse was empty. But in the photograph, here's a woman sitting on the side of a tower with long black hair. Now keep in mind that there were no tourists that day, and the couple didn't see anyone there when they took the picture. So who is the woman in the photo? Well, there's a story behind this. It's said that there was a painter who was once working on the top of the tower when he fell to his death. Since then, his widow has been said to visit the place and sit there on the edge, looking down at where her husband fell. Her name is Maria Mestre de los Dolores, and she was the first Hispanic female lighthouse keeper. Even to this day, it's believed she still visits the lighthouse to sit there. Maggie, our new intern, had an innocent question when we went over this story. She asked why the lady came back to visit when her husband was also dead. Wouldn't that mean they could be together now? Sounds funny, but think about it. A man woke up in the morning just like any other day, but then he noticed something strange. There were tiny bugs all over the snow. Take a look at them. Tiny, jumping insects scattered across the surface. Now, there are actually real bugs known as snow fleas, which thrive in cold temperatures and jump around just like fleas. So this could be a completely natural occurrence. Just that, well, if it was, wouldn't run on it. This led them to believe that that could be a Bigfoot out there. So with that in mind, they sent a helicopter to search the mountain slopes for more evidence. As the helicopter circled overhead, there it was, a figure that matched the description of Bigfoot moving on the mountainside. While skeptics may explain the sightings as optical illusions or misinterpretations, enthusiasts and believers in cryptozoology find such evidence compelling. They see it as a step closer to unraveling the mystery surrounding these creatures. An individual stumbled upon an extraordinary stone that caught their attention due to its unusual appearance. Upon closer inspection, they noticed that the stone was emitting a fiery glow through the cracks on its surface. This fascinating stone is known as a euprolite, which is a type of volcanic rock found in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Euprolites are unique because they contain fluorescent sodalite minerals that make them glow under ultraviolet light. This discovery has sparked interest among geologists, rock collectors, and enthusiasts who were fascinated by this remarkable stone. A group of close-knit friends were enjoying a leisurely walk on a path through a dense forest, surrounded by towering trees and the gentle rustling of leaves. As they chatted and laughed, they suddenly noticed something moving ahead of them. At first, they thought it might be an animal, but as the creature came into view, they were filled with intense fear and shock. What they saw was a pale humanoid creature crawling backwards on all fours. Its movements were jerky and unnatural, and its eyes glinted with an eerie intensity. The friends were frozen with terror, unable to move or speak for several moments. When they finally regained their senses, they sprinted away from the creature as fast as they could, their hearts pounding with fear. Now, the question on everyone's mind is, what kind of creature was it? Some have suggested that it could be a mythical creature known as a rake, while others believe it could be something else entirely. Regardless, the incident has left the friends shaken and wary of venturing into the forest again. What do you think? A trail camera in the woods took an unusual picture, showing a blurry shape hovering above the ground. The mysterious nature of this image has led to different interpretations among viewers. Some suggest a simple explanation, saying the blurry figure might be a moth, considering its relatively small size. On the other hand, a more supernatural view has come up, especially because of where the picture was taken, on a property in Missouri on a small rock burial mound. There are many speculations, with some considering the possibility that this ghostly presence could be some kind of entity silently moving through the mysterious landscape captured by the trail camera. A Reddit user went hiking with a partner and came across the bizarre and unexplained. On the hike, they took along with them a Polaroid camera to capture the fleeting moments of their journey. As they were walking through the forest, they encountered a peculiar post that was mounted on a path and labeled Dead End. The sign was put there because that path led to the highway. Curious about the spooky message, the couple took a picture of the post, hoping that it would embody the mysterious feeling of the journey. When the image was developed, however, the couple was shocked at what they saw. There was an actual ghostly apparition standing a little further away from the post. It was all black, yet was not a shadow. It was a dark human entity. The couple, confused by the sudden appearance of this mysterious thing, had questions on their minds. They didn't see this entity earlier when they took the photo, so how was it even possible? Most importantly, who or what could that be? Ghost of a victim who used that path, or maybe some mysterious being with unclear intentions? In the video that follows, an unidentified individual recorded a fascinating occurrence in the night sky. The footage shows a glowing entity moving behind the clouds. The person who took the footage claims it to be an angel, but there are different opinions about what it might be. Some believe it could be a UFO, while others suggest that it could be an optical illusion caused by the clouds. The object's movement is smooth and steady, and it appears to be moving in a straight line. Some think it's a spotlight, others think we may have an alien invasion on our hands. If anything at all, this video is an intriguing reminder that there are still many mysteries in the world that we have yet to fully understand. Our final clip was recorded in China in March, when the weather conditions were extreme and everything appeared to be covered in ice, creating a scene reminiscent of the Ice Age. The video depicts a deserted landscape where the trees, houses, and roads are all heavily covered in thick layers of ice, giving the impression that time has stood still. The harsh weather conditions have made it difficult for the locals where the clip was recorded to go about their daily lives, leaving the streets eerily empty and lifeless. Despite the beauty of the icy landscape, it's a reminder of the challenges of living in such extreme weather conditions. A wildlife cam captured this huge crocodile. They say it's about 50 feet long or more. If it's true, this reptile is massive. Crocodiles are reptiles that can grow to impressive sizes. The largest species, the saltwater crocodile, Crocodylus porosus, holds the record for being the largest living reptile and can reach lengths of about 17 to 23 feet on average. Exceptional individuals have reported to reach lengths of around 25 feet, while a crocodile of around 50 feet would be at the extreme upper limit for known species. It's not entirely impossible, especially considering that crocodiles can vary in size and there may be larger individuals in certain populations. At least, that's what we theorize, but do share your thoughts. On the shores of an unidentified location, a mysterious and strange creature lies washed up on the shore. This creature is hard to categorize with its pale skin, round head, and a mix of features that seem both human-like and aquatic. It has hands that look like a human's with 4 claw-like fingers, while its lower half transforms into a fish-like shape. The creature is pretty as well. The puzzling nature of this creature leaves observers wondering where it came from and how it got to the shore. What combination of species could result in such a distinctive yet mysterious being? Please feel free to share your thoughts. Witches in various cultures are depicted in different ways. Some believe them to be women on flying brooms at night, while others think of bloodthirsty, wicked-looking beings. There's so much variety across many cultures that the subject is interesting. Take this clip for instance. A man was out with his friends one night when, out of nowhere, from a distance, people in white robes started to approach them. These white-robed individuals were standing on what looked like a cliff or wall. It's hard to tell with the quality of the footage, but one of them jumped down. Or perhaps more like floated down toward the man and his friends. He was so scared that you could literally tell based on how he screamed as the white-robed beings approached him. Now, he called them witches in his language, but the question on everyone's mind is, are they really witches? Julius, our in-house scientist, thinks it's ridiculous to call them witches. He thinks there are 2 likely scenarios. Either his friends are playing a prank on him, or it's a hoax. Aaron, our conspiracy theorist, however, thinks this might be the real deal. Personally, I've chosen to sit on the fence on this one. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Tell me, what do you guys think about it?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. شو هذا؟ أعوذ بالله. تعشق البنت. يي.
Now, I've seen a lot of strange things in my day, but this is a whole new level of weirdness. We're not told where this was filmed, only that a man was exploring an area when he came across this. It looks like a tiny woman dressed in interesting clothes sitting in the middle of nowhere. When I first saw this, I thought it had to be a movie scene, but it doesn't look like it. This left me with one thought. She's either a spirit, goddess, or, simply put, a witch. I know that sounds stereotypical, but how do you explain this? Anyway, share your thoughts. I'd really like to hear them.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. شو هذا؟ أعوذ بالله. تعشق البنت. يي. بسم الله الرحمن.
Take a look at this footage. A man claims to have seen this strange-looking creature in his pond. Seeing it is one thing, but this man actually runs to catch it with a net. The strange-looking thing has a semblance of a turtle. It also looks like a human child in a turtle costume, if you ask me. It brings to mind the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but how could such things be? Honestly, I think this is a hoax. I mean, the possibilities of it being a hoax are endless. It could be a person in a costume or CGI. What do you think? The deep sea remains one of the most mysterious and least explored environments on Earth. In this footage, a strange creature was observed resembling the shape of a sperm, but with a distinctive purple color. Interestingly, the creature doesn't have visible eyes, adding to its mysterious appearance. The absence of discernible eyes raises questions about the creature's sensory adaptations and how it navigates the darkness of the deep-sea environment. If any one of you aqua enthusiasts knows what this might be, please do share it with the rest of us in the comments section.
Now let's switch to some news from America.
America's largest city is bracing for an invasion of unwanted 8-legged visitors this summer. Look at these guys. They're large yellow and black critters. They're called Jaro spiders. They're originally from Asia, but since 2010, they've been spotted in nearly a dozen states between Florida and Ohio.
Meet the Jaro spider, an 8-legged web weaver that is said to be invading the East Coast. These spiders have impressive 4-inch legs and are known to be venomous. Originally native to Asia, they seem to have traveled all the way to America by air or human activities, but I prefer the air. And yes, you heard that right. Spiders flying in the air. These guys are actually capable of flight, and they achieve this by releasing silk strands into the air, allowing them to be carried by the wind. While they are indeed venomous, it's important to note that their venom is not considered dangerous to humans. Still, the idea of flying spiders is enough to give anyone the creeps. So if you're in America and gearing up for a hot summer in your bikinis and shorts, watch out for these guys. They might just drop in unannounced. In the dead of night, a man was jolted awake by a persistent knocking on his front door. Groggy and curious, he decided to investigate. As he cautiously opened the door, he was met with a terrifying sight that would haunt anyone's dreams. Reaching toward him was a slender, deathly figure. The creature, standing at an unnerving height of about 8 feet, had skin that appeared dry and lifeless. Its face was a nightmare come to life. Where its eyes should have been were only hollow voids, adding to its ghastly appearance. Reacting quickly, the man slammed the door shut, his heart racing. Thankfully, his house was equipped with a burglar-proof door, providing a barrier that this horrifying entity could not breach. The man's quick thinking and the sturdy door were his saving grace that night. But what was this creature? I guess that's a question we may never really have answered.
In this unsettling footage from Haiti, captured by a surveillance camera, a seemingly routine visit to a convenience store takes a bizarre turn. As you can see, a man stands at the cashier ready to complete his purchase, and an unexplained force violently propels him to the floor. The impact is so forceful that he remains on the floor. In Haiti, beliefs in the supernatural and ancestral spirits are important, so the Haitian community, understanding spiritual matters, thinks that this might not just be an accident, but could be a type of spiritual payback or consequence for unknown actions. The footage is deemed legit, so it's hard to write it off as a hoax. While exploring the depths of a mineshaft, an explorer records a fascinating sight, a sizable bird gliding through the confined space. Onlookers faced with uncertainty consider different possibilities. Some propose it might be an owl or a bat. Owls are nocturnal birds of prey that are adapted to low-light conditions, and they might seek shelter in areas like mineshafts during the day. Bats, being nocturnal as well, often roost in dark places during daylight hours. Yet the captivating nature of the video invites speculation. Could it be more than just a typical creature of the dark? What if there's something more ominous happening, hiding in the depths of the mine? If you haven't already hit the like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment so far, could you please do that now? It goes a long way to help us make more of these kinds of videos for you. Thank you so much. Now back to today's episode.
Do you believe the concept of a mobile phone was laughable years ago? And no, I'm not kidding. Take a look at this newspaper that was published as far back as the 18th of April 1963. Speaking of dates, comment on the date you're watching the video. We'd want to see how many of you were actually watching this on the 18th of April. We'll capture all of the 18th of April comments and post them with our videos after the 18th of April. Back to what we're discussing, the idea was laughed at and called unreal. Today, not only can we make calls through mobile devices, but they're essentially smarter than NASA's computers back in the day. Talk about a mix of prophecy and scientific innovation. Can't wait to see what their future holds. Late one night, a group of men were camping in the mountains of Turkey when they noticed something strange up on a nearby hill. As they peered into the darkness, they saw a creature with glowing eyes. Even though the surrounding area was shrouded in darkness, they could make out that it had a pair of horns on its head. The creature appeared to be stalking them, and they couldn't shake off the feeling of unease that crept over them. It's difficult to say what kind of creature this could be. Some people have suggested that it might be the legendary Goat Man. Others speculate that it could be a completely different kind of creature altogether. What do you see? Enjoying the episode? Kindly hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already, so we can keep bringing you more clips like this. Done? Well, let's continue with the day's episode. The magical world of insects introduces another wonder, the pink wing phasma. This captivating creature, part of the phasmid family, possesses a special charm that mesmerizing those lucky enough to come across it. With gentle grace, the insect rests on the observer's palm, displaying its detailed wings adorned with a subtle pink tint. Feeding on the leaves of different eucalypt tree species, these creatures mainly inhabit the expansive landscape of Australia. The intricate patterns and captivating colors on its wings turn this already intriguing insect into a living masterpiece, encouraging us to appreciate the beauty of nature's creations. Take a look at this spectacle that happened in Russia. The clouds in the sky appeared to split in two, forming a clear blue path above. This sight has led to different interpretations and guesses from those who saw it. Even people who have scientific explanations are torn between two ideas. One idea suggests that the phenomena could be caused by using vibrations to push away water molecules in the air. This is considered a way of controlling the weather in a cold climate area using nature and human intervention to influence atmospheric conditions. The other party suggests that this is a natural atmospheric phenomena known as a fall streak hole or hole punch cloud. These formations happen when very cold water droplets in a cloud turn into ice crystals. These ice crystals then fall out of the cloud, making a hole or gap in the layer of clouds, in this case, a path in the clouds. However, some are convinced that this might be something beyond our comprehension, something more supernatural, albeit they can't say what exactly. What do you guys think of this? Recently, I came across a video that has left me intrigued. The video shows what appears to be an underground fungus growth in Milan. The footage includes images of dead rats that have growths on them, which is quite alarming. However, some people have pointed out that the images may have been generated using computer graphics, which casts doubt on the authenticity of the video. Despite the conflicting opinions, this video has sparked a lot of discussions, with people trying to determine the veracity of the claims being made. Some believe that the fungus is real and represents a major health hazard, while others think that it's nothing more than a hoax. What do you think about this video? Do you believe that there is real fungal growth in Milan, or do you think that it's all just a computer-generated hoax? While walking through the forest, an individual came across a set of skeletal remains that immediately caught their attention. Upon closer examination, they noticed the remains were not like anything they'd ever seen before. The bones were of a strange shape and size and did not resemble those of any known human or animal species. Intrigued by this discovery, the person carefully studied the bones, taking note of every detail. They noticed that the bones were missing certain features that would be present in a typical animal-human skeleton. This absence only adds to the mystery of the remains and leaves you wondering what they could be. As they pondered the possible origins of the bones, their thoughts turned to the idea that perhaps they were of extraterrestrial origin. However, this idea seemed far-fetched, and they began to consider other possibilities. Could these remains be evidence of a new undiscovered species, or could they be the remains of something more sinister?
In the surreal landscapes near the Fresno Manizales route, an enigmatic spectacle unfurls near the formidable Cerro Bravo. An apparent crack in the rocks shows a strange glow inside, similar to what we see near active volcanoes about to erupt. Active or potentially active volcanoes can exhibit various signs, including emissions of gases, steam, or even incandescent material. Could this be one of those instances? Julius thinks so. Aaron, however, thinks the Earth gods are made and the hue is simply a confirmation of that. I'm leaning more toward Julius's explanation, as that sounds more plausible. Hopefully local authorities saw the video and took appropriate actions. If not, this would be nothing more than a ticking time bomb. It's fascinating how mysteries of the ocean often captivate our imagination. In this footage, a curious observer capturing the beauty of the ocean stumbled upon an intriguing sight. Far beyond the shore, something was seen moving rapidly in the sea. The movement was too swift to be your typical fish and seemed to follow a straight trajectory. This looks like some sort of craft. Some people say it might be a submarine, but the strange thing seems to be moving on the surface, assuming regular submarine behavior is questionable. On the other hand, more imaginative voices suggest it could be an alien spacecraft. What do you think?
Next, we've got another strange clip where a man appears to be interviewing a strange-looking older individual. The man being interviewed has a pure white beard, but his body has a unique and distinctive appearance. His face, shoulders, and chest are a blend of dark and white colors, suggesting that he might have vitiligo. Additionally, his arms look very shrunken, adding to his unusual appearance. Throughout the interview, he only says batata repeatedly when the microphone is placed before him. It seems like the man might have a deformity or a condition that affects his physical condition and speech. This footage raises many questions about his background and condition. If anyone has any insights or information about this individual or his condition, please share your thoughts in the comments below.
Swear to God, that's a fucking person. Dude, flash the light! If you're a person, flash the light!
This footage surfaced on the internet and left a lot of people puzzled. It was posted by a girl who was out one night in her neighborhood when she spotted something strange in the sky. It was a mysterious figure floating in the air. The girl was convinced that it was a human up there, so she yelled out to the figure to flash a light if it was a person, and after a few seconds, there you have it. The figure flashed a light. The next time you see a mysterious being in the sky, never ask it to flash a light, but what could be going on there? Is this some new type of hoax, or did we just witness a person floating in the sky? This incident leaves us with more questions than it does with answers. Aaron is convinced this has got to be a witch, but what do you guys think is happening here? Share your thoughts in the comments section.
That's a fucking person. Dude, flash the light! If you're a person, flash the light!
In an unusual scene in Africa, a man comes across a tree that is different from the usual ones. This tree has eggs instead of the typical fruits. The man then picks these unusual eggs from the branches and brings them inside for a closer look. When he cracks open the eggs, a surprising discovery is made. There are seeds inside the shells. Undeterred, the man decides to cook these unconventional eggs by frying them in hot oil. The process unfolds similar to regular eggs, leaving viewers both intrigued and puzzled. This whimsical event brings a mix of amusement and skepticism, as the man seems to have a tree that produces eggs. I mean, he's got a literal eggplant in his house. Either that, or it's sorcery, or a fake. Still in the eerie realm of the supernatural, a backyard security camera becomes an unwitting witness to a bone-chilling spectacle. In the middle of the day, in the bright sunlight, a dark figure quickly moves across the scene. Unlike fading smoke wisps, this appearance is much more mysterious. Yes, another dark entity. Usually we link paranormal sightings to nighttime situations, making people curious about this strange daytime appearance. Yet this looks like an exception. The unclear nature of the entity makes the mystery even bigger. Is it a harmful force, or maybe it's something completely different? Possibly even something good.
It's fascinating that monkeys are the closest animals to humans, but does that mean they can behave like humans when trained? Well, take a look at this next clip.
Are unique in the eyes of God. Now, there appears to be a beast that can talk.
You see it too, don't you? There's an ape wearing glasses and talking. There are all sorts of things wrong with the clip at just the first glance. There's an ape dressed up, wearing glasses and talking. He's not just saying random things. No, sirree. He's actually speaking English. He appears to be talking about God, too. There's something about the way he speaks that makes it look like he's addressing a crowd or lecturing. Is this real or even possible? The simple answer is no. The complex answer is still no. But we can see him, or it speaks. How? Well, some of my team members are convinced that's definitely a human being in a mask, and I'm tempted to side with them. But what if by some slim and unlikely chance this is real? Wouldn't that change everything we know about apes? Well, what am I saying? What do I even know? Clearly not much, if I'm conflicted about this. Perhaps you guys can help. What do you think we're dealing with here? Share your thoughts in the comments section. I'll be reading.
It's the devil's hand, and I'm cool. Behold, the pale hope.
Do demons and demon lords exist? Before you say no, take a look at this clip. Who or what is that? Am I the only one who sees a possible demonic overlord with horns? Now that I've said it out loud, it sounds ridiculous, but hear me out. You see the garment and possible horn, right? Tell me that doesn't look like a demon overlord. Well, it's either a demon overlord out there deciding whether to destroy those is watching over, or there's a man with a sick Halloween costume. What's your money on?
Encountering the unknown can be both fascinating and disconcerting, and in this particular instance, a man stumbles upon a mysterious creature in a river.
What in the world you all? Well, we gonna get you out this water. Somebody let me know, what is this? This half turtle?
The creature has a body like a turtle and a face that mixes fish-like features with small black eyes, making it a distinct and possibly hybrid specimen. The combination of these characteristics leads to questions of its origin. Is it a hybrid of both worlds? A whimsical creation intended to merge the characteristics of both land and water animals? Or something entirely different? Without further details about the location, scientific examination, or expert analysis, it's challenging to ascertain the true nature of this enigmatic creature. Nature is known for its diversity, occasionally presenting us with surprises that challenge our understanding of the living world. What if, instead of nature, man created this thing? Now, these things you see were captured in the sky.
They are two round patches of white cloud-looking things in the sky. These strange things keep blinking rays toward the Earth. They look like some sort of portals. However, an interesting observation is made. The footage seems to have been taken through a glass window. This leads some to theorize that what appears to be otherworldly portals could be reflections rather than genuine celestial phenomena. What do you think? Our next clip was captured by a home surveillance camera, and it's quite intriguing. In the video, a strange object can be seen flying over the backyard. The object appears to be dark in color with an unusual shape. However, what makes it even more peculiar is the glowing ring around its edges. It's difficult to determine what the object could be. On one hand, it could be a computer-generated image or a hoax created by someone. On the other hand, it could very well be a genuine, unidentified flying object that defies explanation. The video raises a lot of questions and leaves us wondering what the possibilities of otherworldly phenomena could be. In the video footage, an unidentified man can be seen performing an extraordinary feat of strength. The man, who appears to be a driver of a truck, encounters an obstacle on his path in the form of another parked truck. Not one to be deterred, the man gets out of his truck and approaches the parked vehicle. Unfazed by the weight of the truck, he positions himself at the back of the parked truck and proceeds to lift it off the ground with apparent ease. Once he's raised the vehicle to a sufficient height, he expertly maneuvers it into a spot that clears the way for his truck to pass through. It's an incredible display of physical prowess, and one can't help but wonder if the man possesses some kind of superhuman strength or if the footage is even real at all. If it is, this is certainly a feat that would be beyond the capabilities of an average person. Starting a day like any other, a man became fascinated by an unusual sight in the sky. Initially thinking the flying objects were just regular birds, maybe geese flying together, a closer look revealed a more puzzling story. Zooming in for a better view, the observer was met with a truly extraordinary scene. These creatures, far from the usual birds, had huge wings that looked like those of a bat, but on a massive scale. The sheer size and otherworldly appearance sparked imagination and curiosity, making people wonder about fantastical possibilities. Could these mysterious entities be dinosaurs or perhaps even dragons? These days, don't be shy to lean toward the supernatural or fiction because things are just so bizarre. Just a quick reminder before the next clip comes, if you still haven't liked, commented, or subscribed, could you do so right now? Thank you very much. In a peculiar encounter captured on footage, a curious individual stumbles upon a shelled creature resembling a crab.
Yo, what the fuck is this thing? Crab? Coral?
As the observer approaches the creature, it emits a peculiar sound, creating an unusual auditory experience. Simultaneously, the camera captures vibrations and becomes blurred. Some who have seen the footage believe that the creature wields electromagnetic powers. Looking at the footage, I'm tempted to think the same.
Crab? Coral?
What do you guys think, though? Is this one of those cases, or am I seeing stuff that isn't there? These stones are quite fascinating as they seem to create sparks when they collide with an object. The sparks are bright and fiery and give off an intense energy. It's quite intriguing to see such a phenomenon in action. The one who originally posted it stated that they're special stones from Africa. Someone joked and called it vibranium, but I don't know. The little I know from my comics doesn't show that's the case. We did a little digging around, and it turns out there are stones called flint stones that are capable of things like this that makes us think it could be a type of that. However, this is not confirmed, and further testing will be required to confirm their true composition. Nonetheless, the sparks produced by these stones are quite efficient and could have interesting applications in various fields such as construction, mining, or even pyrotechnics. We would appreciate a full-blown instruction in the comments section. Throughout history, there have been numerous accounts of people claiming to have seen extraterrestrial beings. While many people have tried to depict what aliens might look like, it's still unclear what they do look like. In most cases where people encounter aliens, they tend to capture footage from a distance to avoid dangerous situations. For example, in this particular footage, someone saw an alien-looking creature crouched down at the mouth of a cave in the middle of the night. The creature had a large head and a pair of black, huge eyes that seemed to be staring into the darkness. It appeared to be unaware of its surroundings, which suggests that it might be in a state of hibernation or deep meditation. While I'm not trying to discredit these encounters, it's puzzling why people don't try to get closer and make contact with the entities they spot. Perhaps it's because they're afraid of the unknown, or maybe they simply don't know how to communicate with them. Whatever the reason may be, it's clear that these encounters raise more questions than they answer. What do you think of this? While on a cruise ship in the Gulf of Mexico, a group of men captured some intriguing footage in the sky. It was after sundown, so the sky was dark. Amid the darkness, they spotted an orb of light flying across the sky. The orb moved from left to right, then circled back to the left in a smooth, deliberate motion. The men were convinced this light was some sort of UFO. The light was steady and bright, standing out clearly against the night sky. In times like these, it's fascinating to think about the possibilities. Was it a secret military craft, an advanced drone, or perhaps something more extraterrestrial? Aaron states it being an angel is an alternative, but Julius isn't so sure. Anyway, kindly share your thoughts. A man was sitting at home one night, sitting behind his computer. He was filming at the time when his camera captured something eerie at the window behind him. It seemed the man saw it too because he quickly got up and went outside to check if what he saw was still there, but by the time he got there, it was gone. Now, I know what you're wondering. You're wondering what he saw. Let's take a closer look at the footage in slow motion. It was a large, pale, alien-like head with huge black eyes peering right into the room through the glass window. As soon as the man noticed the creature, it swiftly vanished without a trace. The sighting lasted only a few minutes, but it was enough to leave a lasting impression. The creature's face was unmistakable, smooth, almost featureless, except for those enormous black, unblinking eyes. The man's reaction was immediate and understandable. Seeing something so strange and unsettling would send anyone rushing to investigate. Yet when he stepped outside, the mysterious figure had disappeared, leaving behind no evidence of its presence. Some find him filming just a bit too convenient, leading them to believe this footage is fake. What say you? Have you heard the latest buzz? Cicadas are taking over the country by the trillions, creating a scene straight out of a science fiction novel. These rapid mating insects are not just increasing in numbers, some cicadas can become infected with a fungus that alters their behavior, earning them the nickname zombie cicadas. Each female cicada can lay up to 400 eggs over several weeks, but that's not all. These zombie cicadas release spores that could turn other cicadas into zombies, causing a ripple effect of widespread infection. It's an insect invasion on an unprecedented scale. The impact of this phenomena isn't limited to the ground. Birds that prey on these zombie cicadas can end up hallucinating due to the spores. So it's not just the sheer number of cicadas that's alarming, but the ripple effects on the ecosystem. And then there's the noise. If you've ever heard cicadas in full swing, you know they are loud. Now imagine trillions of them emerging simultaneously, creating a sound comparable to a chainsaw. The constant hum and buzz are said to redefine the meaning of noise pollution. Next, we got a clip recorded by a late-night driver who was on the highway, all alone with no cars in sight when something bizarre happened. Yes, a white cloth did appear out of nowhere, floating mid-air on the side of the road. You don't need to be told this is bizarre and rather unnatural. The question on his mind and everyone else's who saw this clip was, where did this come from? The mystery of the floating cloth adds a mysterious yet unsettling element to what should have been an uneventful drive. The driver never met another car ahead, never received an explanation for what he saw. Some paranormal enthusiasts think it might be a ghost, but this is one that's considered a large pill to swallow by even enthusiasts like Aaron. But you guys have seen the clip, and what do you think? Light orbs are one of the most enigmatic phenomena that have been studied all over the world. In this footage, a man was out one night on his farm when he noticed something strange. That was an orb floating over the cornfield. He tries to get a better look at the orb, but it just floats away, evading his approach. These orbs continue to baffle and intrigue people. Some believe that they're alien-related, perhaps representing some form of extraterrestrial technology or presence, while skeptics, on the other hand, argue that these orbs are ordinary and/or can be explained by natural phenomena. There is something about this footage, however, that gives me the creeps. The way the orbs move so deliberately and silently over the cornfield and the way it seems to respond to the man's presence by floating away all contribute to its eerie nature. What do you think? A man woke up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom when he saw something strange in his backyard. A coconut tree stood in the distance, stripped of all its leaves and branches, leaving only a long, bare trunk. What caught the man's eye, however, was the unusual sight perched atop the trunk, a goat-like creature sitting at the very peak. Coconut trees are known for their great height with smooth trunks, making them nearly impossible to climb. There was nothing around that could assist any creature in reaching the top, yet there he was sitting at the top. What made the sight even more chilling was that they had no animals, no goats, no pets at all. The man thought about waking his family, but was unsure if they would believe him or if they could even do anything about it. The creature remained there for what felt like an eternity, though it was likely only a few minutes. For some odd reason, he went back inside and somehow managed to sleep. The next morning, he went outside to investigate, but the creature was gone. There were no tracks, no signs of how it got there or how it left. The only remnant of the creature's visit is this clip, and not many even think it's authentic. What say you? Take a look at this next footage taken from a security camera in a home. The dog is seen sitting on the floor, minding its own business. It looks to be chewing something, perhaps a bone or a toy. Out of nowhere, this happens. An unseen force suddenly moves the dog to the other side of the room. At first, I thought the dog moved by itself, but that would be just unnatural. Having looked at the clip several times, I agree it's quite unusual and disturbing, but I just can't put my finger on what's behind the whole thing. What could have caused this? There are no visible signs of anything or anyone around that could have moved the dog so abruptly. Is it a paranormal occurrence, or is there a more logical explanation we might be missing? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Hotels are very convenient when you travel to a new place and need a place to sleep or a roof over your head. However, I came across this footage that just unlocked a new type of fear for me. In the first clip, a man was in his assigned room when he saw something alarming. A tool was being passed beneath the door, attempting to unlock it. Someone was using this device to try and gain access to the room. As soon as the man noticed this, he yelled out and the person ran away. In a similar instance in the next clip, someone tied a metal hook to a rope and, like in the previous footage, passed it under the door attempting to open it. Fortunately for the one in the room and unfortunately for the other person, the door was locked and the individual was aware. Imagine if the opposite was the case. This could have led to a tragic situation. If there's anything to learn from this clip, it's to always make sure you keep your hotel doors locked, stay vigilant, and prioritize your safety while traveling. We've handled strange and bizarre creatures, but none have ever looked like this. The first thing that came to mind when I saw it was Spider-Man in the black Venom suit, but that's fiction. This is allegedly real life. After a few seconds, I see the rest of the creature, at least half of it, and I must say it's not at all what I expected. It looks like an ant, and at the same time, well, it doesn't. I wanted to believe this is real, but something about it just screams AI. Do you hear it too, or am I just being a skeptic? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. In South Africa, there is a remarkable feature known as the footprint of God, a giant footprint embedded in granite. The footprint is incredibly well defined. It clearly shows the shape of the toes, the arch, and the heel, making it look strikingly similar to a human foot but on an enormous scale. The sheer size of the footprint suggests that if it belonged to a human-like creature, the creature would have been many times larger than any known human. Geologists have dated the granite in which the footprint is embedded to be millions of years old. It implies that the print was made long before humans are thought to have existed on Earth. Does this confirm the myths and legends from various cultures around the world that speak of giant beings? Well, it's hard to say, but these stories might have roots in real historical events or creatures. What do you think? This next one shows an unusual creature with a horned head emerging from the depths of the water. The footage was shot by an anonymous source, and the location where the incident occurred remains unknown. The creature appears to be similar to a dragon, and by that I mean the mythical creature that has been part of many cultures' folklore. Believe it or not, some cultures and individuals believe that dragons did exist in the past, and this video raises questions about the possibility of their existence. The creature's appearance is intriguing, and it presents a striking resemblance to the descriptions of dragons in various mythologies. This footage has sparked a debate among experts and enthusiasts around the world. Some believe that the creature could be a product of CGI, or it could be a hoax. Others suggest that it could be a real-life dragon, and the footage is evidence of their existence. But what do you think of this? Recently in Brazil, a video went viral showing strange light beams appearing in the sky. The footage shows the beams emanating from round lights that were hidden in the sky. The mysterious nature of the lights has led many to speculate that they could be evidence of alien life or UFOs. The video has sparked a lot of discussion and debate among experts and the public alike, with some suggesting that the lights could be a natural phenomenon such as ball lighting, while others believe they're evidence of extraterrestrial activity. The phenomenon has not yet been explained, and it remains a topic of fascination for many. What do you think it is? This fish was spotted in Albania after a heavy snowstorm when the ground was all iced up. Despite the freezing conditions, the fish was very much alive and not frozen to death. What makes this sight even more bizarre was that the fish was upright, standing on its pelvic fin. Now, I don't know what's going on here, but the person who took this footage insists that the fish was walking. Fish walking? That's certainly a new one. Seeing a fish moving around on land, especially in such cold weather, raises a lot of questions. How could it survive the icy conditions, and how was it able to move? Fish are aquatic creatures, not designed to walk on land, especially on their fins. Experts and curious onlookers have been scratching their heads over this one. Some speculate that certain fish, like the mud skipper, can move on land using their pectoral fins, but those are typically found in warmer climates, not in the icy conditions of Albania. Others suggest that the fish might have been displaced by the storm and somehow managed to survive out of water. However, its ability to remain alive and move around in such harsh conditions is still a mystery. Could this be a new adaptation or an undiscovered behavior of the species? Share your thoughts. And I can't move to the next clip without mentioning Julius thinks it's edited footage. Of course. Now the world is so caught up in technology that when anything goes wrong, like power outages or software crashes, everyone starts to panic because we have everything saved on the internet. Recently, there was a significant crash in the cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike software. This happened right after an update was made to the system, leading to a lot of problems for institutions that rely on CrowdStrike. Some believe that the crash was deliberately orchestrated, while others insist it was not. The truth is, we're still uncertain about the exact cause. Nonetheless, the crash was very scary. The impact was immediate and widespread. Companies and organizations that depend on CrowdStrike for their cybersecurity found themselves vulnerable. There were reports of data breaches, system malfunctions, and an overall sense of chaos as IT departments scrambled to mitigate the damage. Imagine the panic in a world where so much of our personal, professional, and financial information is stored online. A crash like this can disrupt businesses, halt financial transactions, and even compromise sensitive data. The fear of such vulnerabilities highlights how dependent we have become on these technologies and the companies that manage them. CrowdStrike, known for its cutting-edge cybersecurity solutions, suddenly found itself in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. In a recently recorded video, an intriguing sight was captured. A mysterious creature was spotted hovering through the air, with only its head visible to the viewer. The rest of the entity was completely invisible, shrouded in some sort of cloaking or camouflage. As the creature moved behind a well, another entity suddenly emerged from the ground, adding to the intrigue and mystery of the scene. The true nature of these entities remains unclear, and theories are circulating that they could be a cloaked entity, a ghost, or even an extraterrestrial being. What do you think it could be? Have you ever delved into the intriguing concept of the third eye? While rooted in various spiritual traditions, it's particularly notable in Hinduism, where it's known as the Ajna chakra. This metaphysical eye is believed to reside in the subtle body located between the eyebrows. Unlike the physical organ, it symbolizes insight, intuition, and spiritual enlightenment. In ancient Egyptian mythology, the Eye of Horus symbolizes protection, healing, and royal power, rather than the third eye concept. The Eye of Horus, often depicted as the right eye, was revered for its connection to the sun and moon, embodying the vigilant and protective qualities of the god Horus. Today, the idea of the third eye transcends cultural boundaries, resonating with individuals exploring meditation, self-awareness, and spiritual growth. It's perceived as a gateway to deeper understanding and heightened consciousness, facilitating profound insights into both the external world and one's inner self. So my question is, do you have a third eye? A man was driving home one night when he saw something ahead of him in the sky. It was a dark figure floating ominously. The figure didn't look human, just an odd shape of a dark entity suspended in the air. It had an almost translucent look, adding to its eerie appearance. The scared man drove slowly beneath the entity, trying to make sense of what he was seeing, and then hurried home as fast as he could. In situations like this, Julius would likely dismiss it as just a cloth tied up there, but there was no indication of wires or anything holding it up. Plus, it wasn't swaying like a cloth would in the wind. Aaron, on the other hand, believes this is some kind of entity. The strange appearance and the way it floated without any visible means of support make it hard to explain away as something mundane. What do you think? Would you believe me if I told you I watched this clip at least a dozen times before penning down my thoughts on it? I mean, when you start to watch the clip, the creature in it looks like a dog, but as soon as you zoom in, you aren't sure what you're looking at. It appears to be half dog, half human. Aaron, on seeing this clip, shouted, "Skinwalker!" Looking at the clip now, I understand why he would think that, but is it really a skinwalker though? Julius, our science whiz, thinks not. He believes this is nothing more than a mangy cat. To support his argument, he points out that the cat is the only blurred thing in the footage and everything else is clear. He adds that if it was really a skinwalker, the clip wouldn't have been digitally manipulated to make the object of interest blur. As always, Julius sounds logical, but Aaron thinks the skinwalkers may have some sort of superpower that makes them invisible to cameras, hence the blurry nature of the creature. We don't call Aaron our conspiracy theorist for nothing. Now, having heard both sides, they want me to accept one, but thought I'd leave it up to you guys. What do you think? Duendes are small humanoid creatures believed to be very mysterious, originating from Mexican cultures. Like every other paranormal creature, there are questions about whether they really exist or not. Take a look at this footage. A man was looking out for what he thought to be a rodent when out of nowhere something ran out from behind a wooden box and into a pipe laying on the ground. Take a good look at it again. Do you see that? It's very fast, so it's hard to tell its features. The only thing evident is that it's bipedal. So is this a duende or not? The speed and size of the creature make it difficult to identify clearly, leaving us to wonder about its true nature. What do you think of the whole thing, though? Share your thoughts. Do you know what's better than one bonus clip? 2 bonus clips. We've never done it before, but today we are. Can you tell us what this is? We've quizzed you before and no one had an answer. If we are able to get the right answer today, we've got something extra special for the one who discovers it. I'm going to keep a tight lip on the prize, but believe me when I say you would want this. Start your answer with the word special bonus. Tell us what exactly this is and give us one fact about it. All the best and good luck. Our eagle eyes will be watching. If aliens do exist, then they must certainly be hiding from us. This footage was taken in the sky, showing donut-shaped discs in the clouds. They were positioned opposite each other and slanted away from each other. They had a reddish-orange hue and were just there suspended in the sky. Looking at the odd disc-like shape, many people believe there are clouds where UFOs are cloaked from human eyes. The unusual formation and the distinctive hue have fueled speculation that these could be alien spacecraft using advanced technology to blend in with their surroundings. On the other hand, skeptics like Julius argue that these are just lenticular clouds. Lenticular clouds often form in the atmosphere when moist air flows over mountains or other obstacles, creating a lens-like shape that can sometimes appear quite unusual. So what are your thoughts? Are those alien crafts up there, or aren't these just clouds? AI is getting very good so far, so good that it's getting increasingly difficult to distinguish between AI-generated content and real life. However, some people believe that AI can never truly replicate the nuances of reality. Take a look at this footage and tell me it doesn't look real. It's a video of a pig underwater with all four legs, but with a fishtail. Yes, it seems very unrealistic, a pig fish, whimsical and bizarre. But just look at the quality of the footage. It looks incredibly real. The attention to detail in the video, such as the way light refracts through the water and the seamless integration of the pig's body with the fishtail, demonstrates the impressive capabilities of modern AI and CGI technology. Now imagine what AI will be able to create in just a few years. The Loch Ness Monster is a subject of great debate, with some people believing it's real and others thinking it's just a case of mistaken identity. But which of these two camps holds the truth? Well, take a look at our next clip. A deep-sea diver was swimming with a camera, filming her. Right behind her, a huge creature comes swimming by. It was none other than the Loch Ness Monster. From the clip we see not one, but two of these creatures, and I must add that the clip does look convincingly real. Julius, however, begs to differ. He argues that the human behavior exhibited in the clip isn't very realistic. He notes that the humans in the clip didn't even react or act surprised when the creature appeared. That to him alone is a red flag. Even if the creature was not scary, there would have been a display of shock or surprise, since seeing something like that in the deep blue sea is bound to make anyone jumpy no matter how experienced. I must say that his argument does make sense, but a part of me wants to believe this is real so bad that I'm willing to accept a third opinion that would side with me, no matter how ridiculous it sounds. So guys, what do you think? Real or not? Let me know in the comments section. If you thought that was weird, wait till you see this next one. Yep. They look like they belong to a dragon. Don't ask me how I know that, well, they just do. The question now is, what is such a creature doing in such a place? I was getting ready to do a full expose on how dragons may be hiding in our forests until I took a second look at the clip. Those hands look like they belong to something rather enormous and huge. If they do, then holding on to such a branch should have caused it to break or at least sway due to its weight. But here's the case, the branch is barely affected. This brought me to a conclusion. Either that's a super branch or the clip is fake. Which do you think it is? The next footage is said to be a real-life UFO. There was no context to it, but it looks very real. Take a look. There is this very large craft, disc-shaped. The disc shape is classic, reminiscent of many UFO sightings reported over the years. The lack of context makes it even more intriguing. Where was this filmed? Who captured it? Well, we don't have answers, but under the comments of the original post, someone had this to say. We're not exactly sure where he got this information from, but there can only be two things involved here. Either he's trolling us so bad, or he's actually onto something. Next up, we've got supposed alien footage from Long Island, New York. Let's take a look. In the footage, we see a strange entity walking by, holding something in its hands. When you look closely, you'll notice this is not human. It features an eerie, alien-like, large, elongated head with what looks like big black eyes, fitting the total description of an alien. In its hand is a glowing object that appears to be covered. Anyone who sees this footage is quick to say it's an alien holding a baby. We haven't confirmed if it's true that someone's baby is missing after the incident, but there are plenty of stories about alien abductions. Others speculate that this could be a demon. Julius, however, believes this is either a person in a costume stealing at night or doctored footage meant to fool those who watch it. We all know how much he is against all the alien and mystical talk, so no surprises here, but what do you think? An individual has recently discovered a peculiar species of mosquitoes and has been concerned about their origin since. They have observed that the first two mosquitoes are of regular size, but the next set is unusually large and bizarre. It's unclear whether these mosquitoes have undergone a natural evolutionary process or if they were genetically engineered in a laboratory. The individual is worried about the implications of having large mosquitoes, as they're known to be carriers of deadly diseases such as malaria, dengue fever, and the Zika virus. If these mosquitoes were to multiply and spread, they would be a significant threat to human health and safety. Could the size of these mosquitoes be a result of environmental change, or is it something caused by the introduction of foreign substances into the ecosystem? They're concerned that these mosquitoes could be a sign of more significant environmental problems and that they could be affecting other species as well. Overall, the one who shared the clip of these monstrous mosquitoes is alarmed by their discovery and is looking for answers. Does anyone know anything about mosquitoes this size? Please do share in the comments section if you do. The pyramids are one of the world's greatest mysteries that have yet to be solved. Nobody knows how these structures were built. Some believe they were constructed using advanced technology, while others think it was some sort of energy that was used to put them in place. Some believe that they were made by giants. Now, take a look at this video. It shows three square rocks, one on top of the other, and the top one appears to be rotating due to some unknown force. However, if you look closely at the middle, there appears to be something shadowy that you might miss. It's unclear what this shadowy object is, but it is a well-crafted work that has left many scratching their heads. If it turns out to be something, it could be a significant discovery that could shed light on the mystery of how the pyramids were built. If it is nothing, then how is this happening and what could cause the rotation of the top rock? This footage was taken on Christmas Island, and what you're looking at is not ants, but millions of crabs migrating from the water onto the island. These crabs are so small that they might look like spiders at first glance, but they're definitely crabs. Christmas Island is famous for this incredible natural phenomenon. Each year, millions of red crabs make their way from the forest to the ocean to spawn. During this migration, the crabs cover the island, turning roads, beaches, and even people's yards into a sea of moving red. In the footage, you can see them swarming over every available surface. Despite their small size, their sheer numbers create an almost surreal scene. It's as if the ground itself is alive and moving. It's a fascinating and slightly eerie sight, as these tiny creatures seem to overwhelm everything in their path. The crabs are driven by a strong instinct to reproduce. They leave their burrows in the forest and head toward the sea to lay their eggs. This mass migration is triggered by the onset of the rainy season, which provides the moist conditions they need to survive the journey. There are allegedly many secrets in this world that we, the regular people, do not know and cannot understand. One intriguing example involves this man who took a €100 bill and put it under a microscope. First, he zoomed in on the image of the bridge. Just above the bridge, he noticed a tiny disc-shaped object that looked remarkably like a UFO. Intrigued, he continued to examine other parts of the bill. When he zoomed in on the purple-colored inscription of 100 in the corner of the bill, he saw something even more surprising: the head of an alien with large black eyes. As he explored further, he found strange vertical markings on another side of the note. These markings resemble the digital rain of numbers from the Matrix movie, with a line vertically crossing through them. These were just a few of the unusual details he discovered. While I don't know how credible these findings are, if these symbols and images are indeed present on the €100 note, it raises many questions. Why would such images be placed there? What purposes do they serve? Are they meant to convey a message to those in the know, or are they simply a form of artistic expression? Also, if you've gone on one of those bills at home, could you check if yours has the same features? Recently, a video was captured by someone showing an extraordinary object in the night sky. The object appears to be a large sphere with an invincible appearance. The sphere flickers in and out of view incredibly fast, making it difficult to capture a clear view. The location of the sighting is unknown, and so is the origin of the object. Experts and enthusiasts alike are divided on what this object could be. Some speculate that it might be a glitch in the fabric of reality or some sort of technological malfunction, while others believe it might be a portal to another dimension or a UFO. The video has sparked a lot of debate and discussion, and many are eagerly waiting for more information to emerge on this mysterious sighting. What do you think of the whole thing? This video, recorded, captures a fascinating incident where an individual is seen using a laser pointer to direct a beam of light toward a particular star in the sky. As the laser hits the star, the surrounding stars appear to move and shift before blinking back into their original positions. The person recording the video is convinced that they're making contact with an unidentified flying object. This compelling footage has sparked discussions and debates about the possibility of extraterrestrial life and the potential of communicating with beings from other worlds. You've seen the clip yourself? What do you think?
That was huge. Whoa!
This footage was taken this year in Orlando, Florida. A man spotted this colorful, almost transparent diamond-shaped object in the sky. The sighting has sparked quite a debate. Some people are convinced that this is a UFO, an extraterrestrial craft visiting Earth. The object's unique shape, vibrant colors, and semi-transparent appearance are unlike anything typically seen in the skies, leading to many believe it must be of alien origin. On the other hand, skeptics argue that this could simply be a holographic projection. While advances in holographic technology create realistic three-dimensional images in the sky, it's becoming increasingly possible. Events and promotional stunts have utilized such technology, projecting detailed and eye-catching visuals to capture audiences. The unusual characteristics of the object, its transparency and the way it seems to shimmer and change color, could be indicative of a high-quality holographic display. There's also the possibility of Project Bluebeam being responsible, but then again, I could just be overthinking things. So what do you guys think is going on here? Do you believe you are a daredevil or know anyone who is? Would any of you be willing to try this? And with that, we end today's episode. Thank you for staying with us. Before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have. Share this with someone you love, and I will see you in the next one.